In the autumn of 1387, Ashworth Manor stood like a sentinel on the windswept hills of Yorkshire, its grey stone walls weathered by centuries of rain and royal intrigue. Within its echoing corridors, servants moved like shadows, silent, swift, and unseen. Among them was Elsa, a 20-year-old orphan bound to service since the age of 7. She wore a simple yellow wool dress, its color once bright like mustard blossoms but now faded from endless washings and sunless days. Her dark hair, usually tucked beneath a linen coif, often escaped in wisps around her face, and her hands, though nimble, bore the calluses of hard labor. The manor had recently been honored with a gift from the royal court, a magnificent Chinese porcelain vase, painted with cobalt dragons coiling around lotus flowers. It had been placed on a carved oak pedestal in the Great Hall, a symbol of Lord Ashworth's loyalty to King Richard II. All servants were warned, "Touch it not, nor come within arm's length." For in this world of fragile alliances and sharper tongues, even a broken vase could shatter a family's standing. It rained the day Elsa broke the vase. She had been up since dawn, mending the Lord's velvet doublet after the harvest feast, and her eyes burned with exhaustion. By afternoon, she was tasked with delivering freshly laundered linens to the solar. Her arms were full, her boots damp from the courtyard puddles. As she hurried through the great hall, her foot slipped on a wet flagstone. She stumbled sideways, and her elbow struck the pedestal. The crash was like thunder in a chapel. Porcelain shards exploded across the floor, glittering like cursed stars. Elsa froze, heart hammering against her ribs. Before she could gather her wits, Mistress Agnes appeared, the housekeeper, tall and severe in her dark green kirtle, silver thread glinting at her cuffs like frost. Her eyes swept the wreckage, then fixed on Elsa with cold fury. "You've undone more than clay, girl," she said, voice low as a winter wind. "You've undone honor." Elsa fell to her knees, pleading. "It was an accident, mistress. I swear." But accidents mattered little in a house where appearances were everything. That evening, the lady of the manor decreed Elsa's punishment. Not the whip, not dismissal, but a lesson in humility. She would be taken to the undercroft and disciplined by tickling, a method known among noble households for correcting wayward maids without leaving marks that might shame the estate. 2 guards escorted Elsa down the narrow stone stairs into the undercroft, a vaulted cellar rarely used, save for storing wine casks and rusted tools. The air was thick with damp and the scent of old earth. Torches flickered in iron sconces, casting long dancing shadows. There, seated on a low stool, was Mara, the senior chambermaid, known for her quiet strength and unshakable loyalty. She wore a russet red dress, her hair braided tightly down her back, her expression unreadable. Without a word, Mara gestured for Elsa to sit. Soft ropes were looped around her wrists, not to hurt but to hold. Then Mara knelt, removed Elsa's scuffed leather shoes, and revealed her bare feet, pale and trembling from her sleeve. Mara drew a long white goose feather. "Breathe," she whispered. Then she dragged the feather slowly along the sole of Elsa's right foot. Elsa jerked as if struck by lightning. A giggle burst from her lips, sharp, involuntary, humiliating. She bit her lip, but it was no use. Mara continued, tracing feather-light circles on her arch, scribbling quick lines beneath her toes. Laughter poured out of Elsa like water from a cracked jug. desperate, breathless, echoing off the stone walls. "Stop, please! I can't!" she gasped, tears already streaking her cheeks. But Mara did not stop. She switched to the left foot, focusing on the most sensitive spot just below the ball. Elsa writhed, her yellow dress wrinkling around her, her body betraying her with helpless mirth. This was worse than pain, it was loss of self. In that cold cellar, she was no longer a servant with duties, but a girl reduced to squirming, giggling weakness. Minutes stretched like hours. Mara paused only once, letting Elsa catch her breath. "Again," she said gently, and resumed. The feather danced, relentless. Elsa sobbed through laughter, her pride crumbling with every ticklish stroke. She understood now. This wasn't cruelty. It was control. A reminder that in this world, even your own body could be turned against you. At last, Mara set the feather aside. She untied Elsa's wrists and draped a rough woolen shawl over her shoulders. No scolding, no comfort, just silence. Above, the manor carried on. Dinner was served. The broken vase was swept into a dustpan and buried in the garden. The next morning, Elsa rose before dawn. She washed her face, pinned her hair neatly beneath a fresh coif, and smoothed her yellow dress. In the great hall, she avoided the empty pedestal, but when she passed Mara in the buttery, she gave a small, solemn nod. No one spoke of the incident again. Yet Elsa moved differently now, deliberate, graceful, her hands steady as she polished silver or folded linens. She had learned that in a noble house, carelessness was a luxury the poor could not afford, and though her feet still tingled at the memory of that feather, she walked with quiet dignity, no longer just a maid, but a girl who had faced shame and emerged, not broken, but bound tighter to the silent order of her world.